Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Anne Boner and I'm a trauma recovery coach who specializes in helping people to recover from narcissistic abuse and rediscover their true authentic selves by healing their inner core wounds. I recently posted a question asking my subscribers what they're currently struggling with so that I can help them address them in my content. So many of you responded and I'll be addressing all of your issues over the next few weeks. So please do subscribe if you haven't already and press the bell to get notifications so you don't miss anything. So today's topic is rumination, and I'll be going into what it is, why we do it, and how to stop it. One of my subscribers commented the following: I am struggling with ruminating the so-called good times and keep wondering why the ex never treated me the way he treats his friends and his new girlfriend. What was it about me, and was any part of the relationship ever true? Going into the second year of breakup, I still feel broken and can't seem to be free. A few other people expressed the same sentiments, being stuck in rumination after narcissistic abuse, remembering the details of what went on, with their mind just running on autopilot. And many people I've worked with describe it as a never-ending cycle of repeating thoughts. You come to a conclusion, then you find yourself unpicking it immediately afterwards, only to work your way back to the original conclusion, and you go through the same loop and cycle again and again. So this continuous cycle focuses on the need to find meaning and make sense of your experiences, especially so when you've been affected by trauma. Now, the issue with NPD is with logic, and as they exist in the normal world, it's not a part of the narcissist world, so they aren't present in the abuse that you experienced. Hence why a lot of people struggle when they try to find the meaning behind the harm they suffered. For the narcissist, there was no harm. What they did was okay. It was logical. It was normal. It was fine. Rumination is a form of repetitive thinking that seeks to resolve a given trauma. So rumination is a sign of trauma, where your brain is trying to desperately solve something that it can't solve or change or fully accept even. And it can be caused by loss, threats, injustices, or direct or indirect harm. Rumination is also a symptom of many other mental health disorders like PTSD, CPTSD, anxiety, depression. All of these are prevalent in victims of narcissistic abuse. Rumination is also used as a form of validation of the narcissistic abuse. Because of the constant invalidation of emotions, the gaslighting, victims of narcissistic abuse unconsciously feel like they need to have or hold on to those painful memories in order to remind themselves that what happened was actually real, when in fact they're reaffirming their pain. Now, they don't consciously make the decision to torment themselves with these bad memories, but they feel like they can't help it as their mind replays events over and over again, triggering pain in their mind and their body. So understanding rumination is the only way to kind of get over it. A lot of people say just forgive, forget, get over it. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like a spinning wheel where you can either take a moment to really stop and observe what's going on, or you can just let it emotionally take over you. So what's behind rumination and why do you do it? Well, we ruminate because our body is actually addicted to the pain. Now, a lot of survivors of narcissistic abuse I speak with experience rumination, and we re-traumatize ourselves over and over again by holding on to the memories of the abuse. The question is, why do we do this? Now, in order to know how to stop ruminating, it's important to understand the science behind it. Now, going through intense trauma of abuse, the more altered you feel inside makes you pay more attention to the cause outside of yourself, i.e. the narcissist. The brain freezes that image or that trauma neurologically, which is the memory. So you end up thinking neurologically within the circuits of that past trauma and think chemically within the boundaries of that emotion, which then creates your state of being. Now, any strong emotional events you experience in life do create long-term memories. And if you can't control your emotional reaction to that trauma and you let that event produce a chemical change in the body, the longevity of that reaction makes us keep firing those same neurons in the brain. And so that conditions us to stay in the past. Now, the process of firing those neurons repeatedly creates chemicals in our bodies. And these chemicals create feelings or moods. And over time, we carry on memorizing our emotions. We end up memorizing ourselves by living in the past of that trauma, just to reaffirm that we can't change. So over time, our body gets addicted to those feelings. The body will then become consistent with the mind and trigger thoughts in our minds in order to release the same chemicals over and over again, just to satisfy the craving for that pain or that emotion that we're addicted to. This creates an addiction to the pain, the anxiety, the fear. And we use the narcissist to reaffirm our addiction to that pain. And over time, we just become addicted and more conditioned to those emotions. And we continue to use people to reaffirm them. We end up creating an energetic bond with the person we focus on, the narcissist. You've probably heard the saying, when you place your attention, or where you place your attention is where your energy goes. And that is true. The stronger the emotion you have to the narcissist, the more you focus on them. They've totally captured your attention, which means you're giving your power away to them. If you take your attention off them, you can become defined by a vision of the future instead of a memory of the past. You have to become conscious in order to stop making the same unconscious choices. And we do this by lowering the volume to the emotions, breaking those energetic bonds, and bringing that energy back to ourselves. As I said earlier, the body has been addicted to that pain because we use the narcissist to reaffirm our addiction to the pain we feel. So the body is being conditioned to our way of being. And if we suddenly try and stop being that way, our body feels a lack of that emotion. It's like it's saying, hang on a minute, I've been used to feeling this emotion, and now you suddenly just want to take it away and you want to deprive me of it. It's similar to what any addicted person would feel going cold turkey, as they say. In this case, when we are no longer in the relationship with the narcissist, the body starts influencing the mind to think about the past experiences and trauma that are imprinted in the brain that are based on that emotion, pain, which is teaching us to remain in the past. Understanding this, we can recognize why we ruminate post-narcissistic abuse. Now, how do you stop ruminating? Now that we understand the mind science behind the rumination, we can look at how to stop it. Some people think it's easier saying, forget it, move on, but it's not that simple. Because it's not our conscious mind that makes us ruminate, it's our brain, it's our subconscious mind. So we have to start there and put a halt to rumination by reprogramming our subconscious mind. Understanding that our subconscious mind controls at least 95% of our beliefs, behaviors, and fears is really important in order to experience true lasting change. We have to focus on breaking those neuron connections that were created during the abuse and then replace them with new and healthy, empowering connections. We can change and reprogram our subconscious mind so that our past won't steer our lives anymore. And we do this by trading the negative emotions for elevated emotions. We can do this by practicing gratitude and teaching our body how it would feel if the events had already happened. An example would be to feel free and untriggered by any thoughts of the narcissist, what they did or said in the past. When we feel and think in this as-if way, the thought can then make it into the body because it's consistent with how we feel in our bodies. This will create new thoughts in our minds and reprogram the autonomous nervous system to a better future. You have to maintain that modified state of mind and body throughout the days, independent of external influences and our body's cravings of those past emotions. So when we feel those things creeping up, we have to have that awareness to know how to stop it and bring ourselves back. Doing this consistently will make you recognize that you are in fact the creator of your life, not the victim. It's also important to look at the stories we tell ourselves. Each time we reinforce the version of the story that leaves us feeling powerless and a victim, we are reactivating that wound and experiencing the pain over and over again. So in reference to the subscriber's initial question where they said, why is he treating his ex differently than me? And what was it about me? That's the story that you're telling yourself. But you have to analyze and think about whether you know for a fact that that's true. And even if it was, does it have to reflect on you and your worthiness? And why is that your point of pain? There's a difference between fully experiencing one's pain, releasing it, or continuing to activate the pain body over and over again with the stories we tell ourselves. When we do this, we just end up reliving the painful event over and over again and traumatizing ourselves as a result. The stories we tell ourselves can deeply impact our lives, so we have to be careful about the stories we tell ourselves. We have to take time to assess whether they are victim stories or stories of empowerment and victory. This is the difference between staying stuck in your pain, i.e. ruminating, and living in survival mode, to moving out of pain and into a place of elevated emotions and peace. Getting out of the cycle of rumination means changing our brain and body to live in the future, not the past reality. When we're connected to the past, we'll always be looking for it, hence ruminating. The goal is to move towards empowering emotions by changing our energy and where it goes, so that we can feel connected to the future, not the past. Rumination can be a gift in that it brings us to the awareness that unconsciously we want to become aware of something about our experience of that trauma, how it changed us, and then use it to learn how to elevate ourselves energetically and regain our power, which changes everything around us. So I hope this helps you gain a better understanding of rumination and how to go about stopping the cycle. I'll be addressing more of your concerns next week, so please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications so you don't miss any more further content.